Hey folks, thanks for joining me today. In today's tutorial, we're going to be working with another Mad River rock. This is one that I collected myself. And we are going to be painting a beautiful sunset, and we're going to be putting a couple of swans into the little lake that the sunset is setting on. So the rock itself wasn't completely flat, so that little white spot at the left-hand side, I've left it raised up, I didn't leave it raised up, it is raised up, but I left it that way so that I could incorporate it in with the rock or with the painting, and I'm going to make it like it's a rock, which it is, but I'm going to paint it like a rock. So it'll be like a little mountain rock, I guess, or maybe just a little hill. Anyways, you'll see when we get to that point. I'm going to bring you up to speed to what I have done so far. So what I've done is I painted the rock black like I normally do, and then I put my painter's tape on, but this time I didn't leave the smooth side, or I didn't cut it with an X-Acto knife like I normally do. This time I tore the I tore the painter's tape, and that way it had like a jagged edge, and what an amazing finish it gave me. I really, really liked it. So we'll see that at the very end. So then I used DecoArt white. So I used DecoArt black as my primer. Then I used DecoArt white, and I did 2 coats of that, one with the brush and one with the finger dauber. And you can see my right hand there is covered in black paint. And I know I've said it before in other videos, but honestly, I am not enjoying myself unless I get paint all over my hands. So I obviously had a lot of fun doing this rock because the palm of my right hand is just covered in black paint. So, and I don't wash my hands in between, because once I start something, I like to keep going and see it through right to the very end. So you're going to have to deal with my painted hand for the entire video. But it just shows you that I really like to get into my work, and I really enjoy it, and the process that it takes me on. And the final result is always so beautiful, and I'm always in awe when it's done. It's like, wow, I painted that. So I guess I'm very humbled that way, but that is who I am. So then what I used after the white was dry and I got the painter's tape on, I used Pure Pumpkin by DecoArt as the background. And then I mixed in, while that pumpkin color was wet, I mixed in some primary yellow, some Scarlet, and those are also from DecoArt. And then I threw in a little bit of black, and I blended it all in just by moving my paintbrush left and right, back and forth type thing. And that's what gave me these beautiful gradient colors to mimic what the sunset will look like. So now I'm putting the sun in, and I am making this as bright as I possibly can. So I used one of my dotting tools, and I put primary yellow on there. Now I'm using my paintbrush, and I'm just sort of, I put a big blob of white in the center of the sun, and now I'm just sort of moving it around and slightly mixing it in with the primary yellow. And this gives me that really bright look. Oh, that's a good view of my hand there with all the paint on it. So it really makes the sun really, really bright. And now what I'm doing is I'm taking some of the excess that's left on my paintbrush, and I'm just painting circles around the sun to give it that glow. So almost like rays of the sun as the sun is setting. And it makes the sun, it just gives that illusion that the sun is really, really bright and really, really hot. So now I'm putting on just not a very straight line, just a line for where my horizon is. So Basically, it's where the water meets land way off in the distance, but also breaks it up so that the sunset in the sky is also broken up from the water. So I mixed some scarlet with some black, and that's what gave me this kind of like a red brown color. And I'm just using my paintbrush and I'm just dabbing it on there to make it look like trees way, way off in the distance. And now I'm going in with my country red. So this country red is by Americana. I've had this paint for years. I don't know if you can still get it or not, but it was perfect for what I needed to give that brightness from the sun. And you'll see what I mean as we go a little bit further into the painting. But having this bright red, especially closest to where the sun is really going to help with that illusion that it's setting. And I'm going over top with more of that mixed color that I made with the scarlet and the black, both by DecoArt. And I'm just ever so slightly dabbing on because I want some of that bright red to still shine through, but I didn't want it to be as bright as it was when I just put it on straight. So I needed to blend in a little bit of the colors. So now I'm going to work on a little bit of the foreground. So I want this to be sort of like a, you're peeking through the trees that open up into the water. And so I'm just painting on branches. I'm so sorry. I'm painting on branches of these trees that are right in the foreground. And now I'm using a brush that most definitely at one time had a much flatter brush, but because I've used it in so many different paintings and things like that, the bristles have really spread out. Now it works amazing for making leaves on trees. So I use this brush because it, like I said, it's so like mangled up that every dot that I put down with paint, it only puts certain paint in certain areas because that's where it's touching, and then there's other bristles that are shorter that are not touching. So, and it all depends on the strength or like the hardness that you tap with it. So I was being very light in some spots, and I was being a little bit more, I guess, harder to get these leaves on the branches. So that is one way that you can do leaves on a branch really, really quickly. So while that's drying, I'm going to work on the reflection of the sun in the water. So this is how you do it. I'm using primary yellow, and I just made like just little touches and swipes in the water so I can still see some of the water of the reflection of the sunset. And then I've got to add these extra lines that give sort of like the movement of the water. And oops, I made a mistake there. Very easy to fix. Just put a cotton swab into some water and you can roll that paint right off. And it works. I have so many of those cotton swabs ready to go just in case. So I also added in some white into the center of that bright yellow. Because that's the center of where the sun is setting. So I really wanted to capture that. And now I am putting on some highlights, and I'm using a mixture of the primary yellow with the white, but I haven't mixed it completely. So it's when I dip my paintbrush in, I'm never getting the same kind of color every single time. So it gives it more of a natural look. And I'm just dabbing on the outsides of the leaves. And I'm giving a little bit of highlight to the branches themselves. It just helps to really show the picture as that they're trees. Now you'll see on the right hand side there, I did a swipe on the trunk of the tree, and it basically overtook the trunk of the tree. But that's okay. I just gonna let that dry. I did try to wipe it off with my finger, which didn't work very well. It just smeared it even more. So what I'm gonna do is just let it dry, and then I will go in with some more black paint and tidy that up a bit, so that way it looks a lot better. So I'm just going to continue doing this, putting in some of the highlights. And although it's going on very, very bright, it does dull as it dries. And that's because I have put in the white, and the white really dulls the yellow down a bit. So it has a better appearance once it's dry. Now I'm going to put on some grass. So this is like that seagrass, or like the, like the little pieces of grass that stick out at the edges of the water. I don't know what it's called, and I really don't know the proper terminology for it, but basically it's the grass that grows out of the water, but is on the very edge of the water and land. So whatever that stuff is. I was going to put in some cattails here. They're also known as bulrushes, but I decided to keep it low key because I really wanted the focal point to be the sun setting on the two swans that I will be painting into there. So I used just black paint, and I'm using my fine lining brush and basically just flicking the brush in a really quick motion, so that it starts off thick at the bottom and then drags up into a point that's really, really tiny. It's almost like very micro kind of point to the grass. And then I came in again with a little bit of that primary yellow and the white mixture, and gave it the highlights. And now I'm going back in with some more black just to give it a little bit more depth. So, and that's all I do for the grass. It's very quick and simple. I love the effect of it by doing something as easy as this, just by flicking your paintbrush, is just amazing. And the effect that you get, because it tricks the eye. When you have so much going on in a painting like this one, the eye gets tricked into believing what it's seeing. It's not a one-dimensional because you're doing everything in layers. So everything that's in the background, then your midground, and then your foreground, you're doing those in layers. And that's what makes your eye believe that you're looking at something that's 3D. But it's actually only 2D because it's just a painting. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag some of that paint out from the sun. It's not quite dry yet, so some of the center stuff is still wet. And so I'm just dragging that out from either side. And it gives that look that there's maybe some wisps of clouds in front of the sun. And that was the look that I was going for. And some of it I drag out a little bit more than the others, and some I just leave them as short. But I really, really enjoyed the effect of this. So I hope you've liked this too. I will be doing these swans very soon, and I'm just going to add some more grass here around the rock, because then it makes the rock look like it's behind the grass and the grass is in the foreground. So again, it's all about layering and knowing what's in front of the other. So it's I find it very easy to do. And I hope that the way that I explain it is easy to understand, and that it encourages you to want to try it yourself. I really hope that I'm teaching you something that maybe you've struggled with and you didn't know how to do it, and I'm showing you, and you're enjoying and understanding it. Or maybe it's something that you have your own technique of doing, and you're seeing me do it this way, that maybe it might be a different technique that you'd like to try. So I really hope that the content that I provide everyone really helps out and gives you, first and foremost, inspiration. That's what I'm here for. Second of all, to teach you something new that maybe that you didn't know, or maybe it's different from what you're used to doing. And thirdly, just to hang out with me, to watch me do these paintings and hang out with me for the 18 minutes, 20 minutes that my videos are, and you just like to watch me paint. For whatever reason you're here, I want to thank you for being here. It warms my heart when I post a video and then I see how many views it receives, how many people are return viewers. Just makes me very, very happy. So I want to thank you for that. And for those who are here that have not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. My goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. So here we are, the end of August, and that means that we have 4 more months, and they're all the burr months. So, you know, like October, September, October, November, December, they're all burr months, and that season is coming. So, sorry, I kind of went off into left field there. Basically, what I'm saying is, if you're new, please subscribe and help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Make sure that you let me know that you like it by giving me the thumbs up, because I get notifications whenever you do that. So it lets me know that somebody's viewed it, and I get the thumbs up on it saying that someone liked it. So please let me know that. And ring the notification bell if you don't want to miss anything. I try to post once a week, so make sure that that's clicked so that you get notifications on that. I also want to let you know too that all the paint colors that I use are listed in the description. I do that for every video, but that's just suggestion. It's what I have in my stash. It's just a suggestion. I encourage you to use what you have in your stash and make your own beautiful sunset with the different colors that you have available to you. Now I'm just adding a little bit of shadow there to the swans. Not really a shadow, it's called a reflection because it's in the water. And I wanted it to be like a heart between the two of them, but it didn't quite work out. But regardless, it still is beautiful, and I'm so happy with it. I'm just sort of sharpening up the horizon there where the water meets the land. That's way, way far away. And now I'm just adding in a little bit of shadow from the trees that are on that land. And I'm just doing some really quick swipes. My paintbrush is not filled with paint. It's just a tiny little dab into the paint so that it runs out quickly, so that I can sort of make it drag down into the water. And now for the reveal. This is what I was talking about, these edges. It looks amazing after it's resined. So in just a few short seconds, I'm going to show you what that looks like. So remember, folks, life is what you make it. So get creative.